Well, hello there, guys, and welcome back to our Strategic Command 1942 Let's Play. I want to thank everybody for being so supportive of this Let's Play series, and obviously keep giving your support, keep hitting that like button, and subscribing to the channel if you are new. So, of course, 1942 as a matter of fact. So, of course, you guys know that we were playing as the Germans during 1942, and we've already actually done a few moves here during this particular Let's Play. We're just basically trying to follow up, trying to break through to Volkhov and a few other areas. We've obviously been trying to move closer to Moscow and obviously closer to Stalingrad. And I think Stalingrad is the place where we're going to have the most luck. At least I hope so, at least getting there. Obviously, the Battle of Stalingrad itself is going to be an utter nightmare. I want to start moving some of my generals closer. And we've done a lot of moves already over here, just basically getting our guys into position. So we'll probably turn over to the Russians very soon. Excuse me, and let them go ahead and get started on their moves. I want to make sure we've used all our bombers, and I'm pretty sure we have. We do have a few partisans behind the lines that we want to be careful of, but one bit of good news is we are getting closer and closer to taking Sevastopol. So pretty soon here, we should be able to get in there, and I'm actually going to be getting closer to Novorossiysk over here with some of our men. We'll go ahead and attack the Soviets here and see if we could take Novorossiysk very, very soon. Of course, crossing from Crimea into this area and getting underneath the enemy would be pretty interesting. And also another thing, which we haven't really messed with this particular Let's Play, but something that I think is equally important, is maybe we can go ahead and start some diplomacy with some of these other nations and try to get them to join our cause. So we already know that Romania is on our side, a bunch of other nations are on our side. Maybe we can get the Turks to join us. Now, I think it's probably going to be very difficult, but what the heck, we might as well try. We'll go to Turkey, and we'll see if we can invest in diplomacy. So we're going to spend 50 MPP to invest in diplomacy, and we want to get this chance of success to 20%. I mean, it would be incredible if we could try and get the Turks to join us. I'm going to go ahead, invest in diplomacy once again, 25% chance of success. But of course, we're using a lot of diplomatic power to try and move them over to our side, and a lot of military points to try to move them over to our side. But this would hopefully change the war big time to get Turkey to join the Axis. In the other parts of the battle, we want to just keep moving with our subs, looking for the enemy, obviously. Some of our subs are fighting these battleships, of course. We've already attacked them once. So actually getting closer to the battleship would be good because we want to get out there and start continuing to mess with the British supply. So let's go ahead and end the turn here and turn it over to the Soviets, because right now they're really only our real enemy besides the UK, which doesn't have any ground anywhere. And let's see what happens. So Malta hinders Axis supply in the Mediterranean. That's obviously not a good thing, but it's going to be very hard to attack Malta. And look at this. Foreign Minister reports diplomatic success, so Turkey has turned towards the Axis 12%. Now, I don't think this means they actually join us, but it certainly means that they're considering joining us, and that's exciting in itself. So let's see what happens in that particular regard. And let's see what the Allies have up their sleeve, particularly the Soviets here. Okay. Got some battleships here. Oh, we've got a... Looks like they left. Beautiful. So that battleship has left. That means we can get those subs out into the ocean, into the Atlantic. A few Soviets moving over here, trying to get back to Kaluga. We couldn't take it that turn, remember. We had to wait a turn before our men would be able to move in there. But a lot of them are starting to move back towards Stalingrad. Some of them are reinforcing the line, but I think that most of them are going to try and get back towards Stalingrad and hold the line against our attacks. As you can see, a lot of reinforcement going on here. We're doing very good in Northern Africa so far, thanks to Rommel, but that could change very quickly, so we're going to have to press very hard in Northern Africa to be able to do well, essentially. And there we go. We've actually got enemy bombers from Stalingrad coming over and doing some damage to our infantry divisions. Obviously some British artillery here trying to hit our Italian positions, but I think they're going to remain strong, hopefully, and be able to hold out pretty well against the enemy. And look at this. I was worried about that. We've got a carrier now, of course, attacking us, and he's doing a lot of damage to our Italian submarines. There's also some nasty weather in Finland, and I think the Soviets are going to try to take advantage of that, but I don't think they're going to break out. And look at this. They're actually trying to bomb one of our supply areas in Mersa Matruh. This is actually the Allies bombing a civilian area. Not exactly going to look good in the evening news, but what can we do? It's good for us. Okay, we've got some more battleships here. Well, just popped up kind of on the radar, so we might be able to attack this battleship. But at Volkhov, it looks like the Soviets are actually quite strong. So we want to be careful here. At Voronezh, it looks like they're taking major hits. They're not going to be able to break through at Voronezh. And if we took Voronezh, I think it's going to give us a massive amount of national morale. And look at that. 4 kills for our tank division there in North Africa. This is looking pretty good. Right now, our troops are doing really, really well. Of course, if the enemy keeps doing stuff like that, getting behind our lines, that's going to be damaging for sure. Come on, men. Of course, they're trying to break out of Leningrad, but if we can get through that one infantry division, we're going to be able to take the city with no problem. We've got some defensive artillery firing on this British infantry division, and actually they took a nasty hit, but they are going to try to attack our Italian infantry division, which is holding strong. At Rzhev, I don't want the enemy taking that area back, and it looks like our men are holding it very, very well. They're getting as much supply as they can from Vyazma. But, you know, we obviously want to try and open up that supply line even a little bit more if we can. All right, guys, more French partisans disrupting supply. Now, it looks like they're disrupting supply at Rennes, and we've also got some Soviet partisans, and these guys have actually created a nice little group. That's what I was concerned about. It looks like the U.S. Marines assault Japanese-held islands off Guadalcanal. Obviously, the Japanese are our allies in this battle, or in this war, but we don't actually see their front, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. And, of course, now it's our turn to go for some attacks. Hopefully some very effective attacks into enemy territory. So we do have this tank division, and I was going to go ahead and try to cut off some more of the enemy rail lines, but I think what I'm going to do is bring him over here so that he can start attacking the 61st Army. Let's go ahead and see if that works out. Not bad. Attack again. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm going to try to bring forward the infantry, but I would like to get our Großdeutschland Mechanized Company to attack, so I'm going to have them go ahead and hit them here, and maybe we'll even move closer. And I will sacrifice some men in the Großdeutschland just to take out the 1st Guards Heavy Tank Division. As you can imagine, having a Heavy Tank Division on the front there doesn't look good for us. We'll also bring in our Anti-Tank Corps and see if we can't do some more damage. And it looks like that Heavy Tank Division has decided to move back a bit. Of course, Voronezh is our ultimate goal, but we've mainly got Hungarian troops here trying to take it, and that's not exactly sitting well with me. They're not horrible troops, but let's face it, we could get much better troops out here. So let's go ahead. Voronezh is holding strong. Not bad. Good job by the Hungarians there. And let's see if we can bring in some bombers to fully liberate Voronezh. Liberate may not be the correct word in this instance, but however much damage we could do to them, the better. Okay, very nice. So Voronezh is getting weaker. They're probably just going to reinforce that area, to be honest with you. So what I'm going to do is actually send some units over here to Kantamirovka. That's another city we want to take on the way to Stalingrad, actually north of Stalingrad. But if we can break through there, we're going to do our guys a big favor. So I'll first of all start attacking here in the north. And remember, I was worried about the Don River, because if we have to break through the Don, it's not going to be an easy breakthrough by any means. It's going to take a lot of work. So I'm going to pull up our tanks, go ahead and attack. Kantamirovka is going to be ours very soon. There we go, guys. And, of course, Kantamirovka is on this side of the Don River, so it's not exactly the greatest situation, but it's good enough for us to cause some more damage to the Soviets and continue attacking here. And even our 4th Corps, which is at 7 strength, is managing to do some serious damage to these units. And look at that. I think we could probably even destroy these guys, totally destroy this unit, and maybe gain some national morale. It looks like we're not going to be gaining any national morale, but it's okay. Worse things have happened. I'm going to keep moving these guys towards Borylepsk. I'm sure I'm completely saying that name wrong, but of course cutting off that rail line right there would cut off the enemy entirely. They would have no way of getting support or supplies into that area, and of course it would be a very bad situation for the Soviets. So let's keep moving forward, guys. As you can see, they're trying to create a secondary defensive line here. We definitely want to attack with the Ukrainians, or the Romanians here, excuse me. Really nice attack there by the Romanians, got to give it to them. And we'll keep moving forward with our other units, and we're going to try to go for Morozhevsk. But first, I want to bring in our bombers from Sevastopol, or Mariupol, excuse me. Remember, we're still trying to take Sevastopol. And I'm even going to bring in the Romanian fighters. Now, they're not great at ground attacks, but occasionally they can do some pretty good jobs here. Let's also bring up this Romanian corps. We'll bring up this Romanian corps, and we'll go ahead and try and just go this way so that we can cut off the enemy rail lines. Looks like they're still defending them, so I'm going to keep attacking at Morozhevsk as much as I can. I'd actually really want to hit that Soviet tank division, but let's worry about it later. We're almost to Stalingrad, and that right now is our biggest concern, of course, is taking Stalingrad from the enemy. Even the Romanians are fighting extremely hard to take this area. Let's see if we can bring up anyone else. Anyone else that's worthy of this attack, of course. Okay, Morozhevsk is almost in our hands, but we've got to worry about the Russians right here near Rostov. They've got a pretty decent defensive line around Stalingrad, so if we're going to move up, we've got to move everybody up. Everybody that's capable of moving up, of course. So let's start moving these guys forward, and we might even start getting some reinforcements for our guys. If we can't, that's okay. We've got to at least try to do some damage to the enemy. So I'm going to attack. We'll even attack with our Romanians if they see fit, but I don't think that they're in the best situation right now, although we've got some bombers here. And it looks like these guys have already gone in for the strike. Yeah, for sure. These guys are finished. No. We can maybe get a hit here. East of Rostov, and actually they got 5 kills. Pretty incredible. Now, of course, we've got to take Sevastopol, and I think we're going to first hit them here. This would be a huge primary supply gain for us. I'm going to move up with our Gustav railgun. Oh, I wish I could take that move back, because we actually should have just attacked with our Gustav railgun. So we'll keep attacking Sevastopol, but we're almost there, I feel. And maybe one more attack, and we can break into that city, which would be a huge pain in the ass for the Russians, no doubt about it. And even here at Rostov, we're doing pretty well. Although I don't want to leave Rostov, I want to keep defending it, and there's no real point in taking that rail line. It's not leading anywhere that would actually hurt the enemy. So I'm just going to stay put for now. Nothing we could do at Voronezh, really. We could, of course, send this tank destroyer behind the enemy lines here, or even to Moscow, but I'm sure they're going to have defenders at Moscow. Nonetheless, we might as well take a risk, and look at that. We're actually cutting off one of the southernmost rail lines to Moscow. It's not a huge deal, but it's a big enough deal to consider it a slight victory for us, for our side. Let's go ahead and attack them here. And wow, our troops at Rzhev are very strong. As for our armored cars, I'm going to try to reinforce them. Max reinforcements, we can get them back up to 8. Beautiful. That's going to be very helpful. Let's keep moving forward. It's not going to be very good attacking here, and we're still dealing with Luki. And let's go ahead and try and hit the area in front of Leningrad. Of course, there's going to be some anti-aircraft fire coming from the city of Leningrad itself, but I think the more pressure we can put on the enemy here, the better it's going to be for us in the long run. So let's actually go ahead. This tank destroyer, I don't think is going to be able to do much damage. We will attack anyway. And as you can see, yeah, he actually took way more damage than he dished out. So we're going to move this infantry unit here. We're going to move this infantry unit forward. This way we can get 2 attacks and really try to get rid of the 42nd Army here, which is basically one of the few armies still defending Leningrad. If we could destroy these guys, it's going to be absolutely excellent for us. Now, as far as the guys near Volkov, yeah, they're not doing so great. We're not going to attack, no way, but we'll actually move our general back if we can. A little risky. I was hoping we can move this guy back too, but it looks like that's not going to be an option. Nonetheless, we've got a lot of possibilities here. Now, of course, we want to go into Northern Africa and see if we can't push the Allies back. We've been doing very well here in Northern Africa, so if we could keep this up, we're really going to come out of this on top. So first things first, I want to get rid of this British division, but I think we can probably get rid of them with our infantry. So I'm going to start attacking with my Italian tanks west of El Alamein. And if we could take El Alamein, that would obviously be a huge win. Let's go ahead and send in some fighters, some Italian fighters here. Doesn't look like they managed to do much damage, but they did do some damage to the enemy RAF fighters over there near Alexandria. So let's move forward with good old tank destroyers. And let's see if we can get an artillery strike as well. Nice, and I believe we've got another shell to fire, guys. Shattered. That's exactly what we're looking for. Move forward with our Italian infantry units. We didn't do any damage, but we did manage to push them back. And let's see, we'll go ahead and, ooh, that's not going to do well for our tanks. So I'm actually going to reinforce these tanks. Looks like the most we can give them is 1 point, but in this particular fight, I think 1 point's actually going to go a long way. I'll do the same with our bombers. We want to reinforce them. And these bombers, too, are Italian bombers. In fact, with our Italian bombers, we're just going to go ahead and call in an airstrike. So we're going to try to bomb this Australian corps, which is apparently defending the northern end of El Alamein. There's definitely some Italian escorts coming in there, so we're going to go ahead and bomb this area. And it looks like our boys took a nasty hit, but once again, the Air Force near Alexandria is also getting some nasty hits, and I've got to give it to our Italian bombers. They did an okay job. Definitely did an okay job here. Let's see if we can reinforce any of these men. It doesn't look like we can. So for now, we're just going to have to accept our lot in life. And we could probably attack this Desert Field Artillery or even the Desert Anti-Tank. And there we go. Nice. One more attack like that and we wipe them out entirely. And we don't have to worry about them. So let me actually move these guys to the Siwa Oasis. Just want to go ahead and take some more of this territory while I still can. And obviously if we could get the Turks to join us, they could attack from the north. That's why I think it's so important to try and get the Turks to join us. It would be a massive victory for our side and would probably lead, not necessarily to winning the war, but it would make the war somewhat easier for us because it's been tough so far, obviously. 1942 is the year when the war starts to get pretty damn tough for the Germans, and I can understand why. So obviously trying to cut off these rail lines near Moscow would be in our best interest. So I'm actually going to move this infantry unit forward. And look at that. We've got enemy contact on enemy fighters. Let's attack. Destroying some of the Soviet fighters there. And look at that. Now we've completely destroyed the rail lines near them. I think now the pain can begin. Obviously, they're not getting any support at Tula. And without support at Tula, I'm not really sure what they're going to be able to do. But one thing we should try to do is we should try to purchase some more units. I'm not sure we have too much to actually purchase here, but I'm definitely going to go for another tank division. So let's go for our, where are our tanks? Heavy tanks. Let's go for the heavy tanks. We'll give them some advanced tanks, some anti-aircraft defense, and some mobility purchase. And I'm going to purchase another heavy tank division. After that, I'll try to get some infantry divisions started, army, as a matter of fact. And if we could put these guys on the Eastern Front, it's going to go great. So right now, it looks like our men, our civilians, are more than willing to become soldiers right now to defend the great German Reich. I'm also going to try to get a mechanized Panzer Grenadier Corps because they've done really well. And if we get this many reinforcements, we're going to do really well. We're now down to 468 MPP, so I'm going to see if I can't try and do some diplomacy with the Turks, try to get them more on our side. So we're going to keep on trying. And yes, it's unlikely that they'll join us, but I want to, of course, do our best to see what happens. Maybe even try to get the Spanish on our side. That would be quite interesting. Getting the Irish on our side, that's not going to happen, or the Portuguese. But, you know, anything's possible, of course. Let's see. I don't really want to attack. I mean, I do, but I think it's probably going to be a bad idea. I'm thinking whether or not we should attack with our Finnish troops. We could certainly move them closer to Leningrad, but I don't think we're going to win any medals attacking here. I guess we could try one attack with our strongest corps. And yeah, the Soviets are going to hold out pretty well against the Finns. It's one thing for the Finns to defend their own land. It's an entirely different thing for them to defend against the Soviets. That's going to be a really difficult thing to do. Let's go ahead and see if we can destroy this British submarine with our destroyers. It looks like they didn't even manage to get a single hit. I must say our Italian destroyers are none too good. So we're going to grab our... Oh boy, they've got a cruiser. So we might have to deal with them a different way. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that would work, but let's bring in our other German ship here. And they've actually got a carrier here. They're going to try to be moving some guys onto land. So they may be trying to get to the North African coast to deliver some assistance to their boys. We can't have that, guys. Did some damage to the sub, but not really enough to warrant any calls home. But that's going to be about it, my friends. We'll, of course, end the turn and turn it over to the Allies at this point, see what they're going to do. But I still have a few bombers here that could probably go in for an attack. If not, I'm going to see if we can reinforce them and at least move them closer to the front, like over by Belgorod. I'll also move our general at Kursk forward too. I'll even move our Hungarian general forward just to take a little extra land. Move this guy forward as well. Just trying to bring that supply in as best we can. Okay, guys, let's end the turn and turn it over to the Allies. But, of course, you guys know how this works. To see that next turn, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, support the channel most of all, and we will come back at you with the next part of this Let's Play as soon as possible. Thank you again so much for watching. Take care, and have a great day.